I am again trying to sum up the quasi-linear preferences done from the previous lecture. Okay. I hope this particular case was clear to everyone. This was case 1. This is the case we had done in the previous lecture. I hope it was clear to everyone. Okay. Let me talk about case 2. Okay. Suppose now my utility function is x1 plus vx2. Okay. By the way, vx1 we had taken as root x1. Okay. So where can I write it? So example was utility is equal to root x1 plus x2 is equal to 10. Similarly here we have x1 plus root x2 equal to 10, suppose. Now you can here see that x1 is the linear good, x2 is the non-linear good, and non-linear good is famously known as a habit. Okay, now if I draw a diagram for this, so you can see this here, when x2 is 0, x1 is 10. Okay, and I can find out the slope and everything. So let's take it up in the diagram. This is x1. x1 is the linear good, and this is x2. x2 is a habit. Okay, let's talk about the derivative. So I can write that root of x2 is equal to 10 minus x1, or I can write x2 is equal to 10 minus x1 square. So if I find the slope dx2 by dx1, that is going to be 2 into 10 minus x1, and internally if I differentiate, minus 1. That means minus 2 times 10 minus x1, which is negative. So indifference curves are downward sloping. And by same logic, you can please check at home that it's going to be convex to the origin. If you find d square x2 by dx1 square, in fact, we can find it d square x2 by dx1 square will be minus 2 into 10 minus x1 derivative is minus 1 with respect to x1. That is 2, which is positive. So when x1 is 10, x2 is 0. Okay. When x1 is 10, x2 is 0. That means this is the point, and it's like this. Downward sloping and convex. the moment I change this to 20, the moment I change this to 20, suppose I make it 20, this will become 20, this will become, then this will also become 20. Okay, if you draw the new IC, it is going to start from 20, but then everything else will remain the same. If I make it 30, everything else will remain the same. It will remain downward sloping. It will remain convex to the origin, but only the levels are different. So here I can say that every IC is a horizontally shifted version. Every IC is a horizontally shifted version of the base IC. Every IC is a horizontally shifted version of the base IC. Again, you can see it is intersecting the axis of the linear good. This same point applies here also. It is intersecting the axis of the linear good and it is asymptotic to the axis of the habit good. So I hope all the students have understood how to make diagrams for quasi-linear preferences. Very simple. Indifference curves will always be downward sloping in case of quasi-linear preferences. They will always be convex to the origin. They will intersect the axis of the good which is linear, and they will be asymptotic to the axis of the good which is non-linear. In the case 1, every IC will be a vertically shifted version of the base IC. In case 2, every IC will be a horizontally shifted version of the base IC. I am open for doubts. Any student who has any sort of doubts can ask before we move forward.
Sir, so actually I missed a little bit of the part in the beginning when you were teaching us the two cases. So I had to ask that, so all non-linear goods are habits? Like
Yes.
they're all habit?
They are habits because they are consumed in a particular behavior. Suppose you have root x1. So there's a behavior of x1 which is being followed. That's a habit for us. Example of habits can be like anything can be a habit. Coffee is a habit. Suppose there are people who need 2 cups of coffee every day. It's like a habit for us. Yeah. So all non-linear goods are habits. Go on.
So that's what I was wondering. Are there any exceptions, or habits are essentially non-linear and non-linear goods?
Habits are non-linear always. Habits in a utility function, if you are given a non-linear commodity, partly non-linear and partly linear. So always remember that the non-linear commodity is a habit. Always.
Okay. Okay, sir. That was my question. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Anyone else for doubts, please ask. Don't feel shy, guys. Even the new students, it's a sincere request. The new students who are attending the lectures, please don't feel shy with me. The objective should be that your concept clarity should be 100%, not even 99.9. You should be clear, you should be thorough with it. Any doubt, anything you are wondering as to how sir has put it, please feel free to ask.
So
In case, yeah.
So could you explain it through like a real life example? Why is it asymptomatic to the non-linear good, and why does it intersect the linear good axis?
See, the thing, you can understand it logically also. You see, habit is a commodity for which you will be willing to give up the other good as less as you can. So if I let me take an example for you. I can erase the whiteboard, right? I think no one has any doubt from the whiteboard part, because when I want to clear the whiteboard, I hope I can. Okay, so understand this something. Suppose for me, having coffee is a habit. Although it's not in real life, but I'm just taking an example. Suppose coffee is a habit, and suppose I have any other good you can choose. Maybe take any example, chocolate. Now, coffee is a habit. My body needs a certain amount of coffee every day. It's difficult to survive without it. So now understand this, how does the behavior happen? So if I have zero coffee with, please understand this, I am not addicted to coffee. Being an addiction and being a habit are two different things. I am not saying coffee is an addiction. I say it's a habit. It's a habit means I just need 2 cups of coffee. I just need का मतलब भी ये है कि it's in my habit that I drink 2 cups of coffee. अब किसी दिन नहीं भी मिले तो ये नहीं कि कोई मर जाएगा. मतलब it's not an addiction. I want to clarify it. When I say a habitual commodity, it does not mean an addiction. Because addictions are those commodities such that if you don't get them, your health deteriorates or you can even die. But coffee is not an addiction here. Coffee is a habit. Habit means every day I wake up, I have 1 cup of coffee in the morning, 1 cup in the evening. Example. Okay. So even if I have 0 coffee, I am well off with 10 chocolates. That's completely fine. If you don't give me coffee on a particular day and if you give me 10 chocolates, I'm very happy. Okay. But eventually coffee is a habit. For every coffee I buy, I'll be willing to give up chocolate initially. Okay. I'll be willing to give up some chocolates for the coffee. Okay. And I'll be willing to give up every time. But you see, it's a habit. Why is it becoming asymptotic? You need to understand. Coffee is becoming, the curve is becoming asymptotic because coffee is a habit. Now, suppose I want 2 cups of coffee. But suppose someone says, Akshay sir, have the 3rd cup also. So then I will not be willing to give up too many chocolates for it. Because I already got my, I already got my intake. My body needs 2 cups. The 3rd cup, if you give me, I'll say, okay, you're giving me the 3rd cup of coffee, that is fine, but I'll not give up chocolates for it, sorry. I'll give up very less of it. Because I don't need the 3rd cup. You give me the 4th cup, I'll say no, I'll even give up even less chocolates now. Because all I needed was 2 cups. You are giving me the 3rd cup, you are being kind to me, well and fine, but I am very selfish. I can't give up chocolates for it. So you can see eventually if I join this point with all these points, you see eventually it will become asymptotic. See, it will never intersect the coffee axis. It will become asymptotic or parallel to the coffee axis. But having said that, I was completely fine with 0 coffee and 10 chocolates. I have no grudges because coffee is not an addiction. If coffee was an addiction, I would have not been at this point. Coffee is not an addiction. Coffee is a habit. You should need to understand the difference between habit and addiction. So I hope all students are understanding it. Every person has his own potential intake of a commodity. Now I have 2 cups of coffee, that is fine. But if you give me more than 2 cups, I'll accept that, but I'll be willing to give up very lesser and lesser chocolates for it. Because I love chocolates also. Yeah, in real life also I love them. Okay, so I hope now you have understood the behavior. Guys, when we draw the indifference curves, all what matters is the behavior. If you understand the behavior of the person, you can draw the indifference curves for it. There is no rocket science behind drawing indifference curves. It has to be done with the behavior. All indifference curves are drawn taking into account the psychological behavior of the consumer. I hope now.
So if I'm not wrong, then when you say that if anything is a habit, then you're placing sort of a limit on the amount of utils that can be derived from that particular commodity.
Limited utility.
Yeah, so we are not willing to substitute chocolates for the other good. after
I'm
a
not
point
saying,
of time.
yeah, exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something now. We have done the concept of satiation point also. Excess of everything is a bad. Okay, actually that point doesn't apply here. Let me check out that point. That point is not worthy here in this particular case. But yeah, habit. See, when I say habit, suppose I say 2 cups of coffee is a habit for me, then I am fine till the 2 cups. If you give me more than 2 cups, I will not be willing to give up too many chocolates now. If you ask me that, Akshay sir, you love 2 cups of coffee, I am giving you the third one, sacrifice more chocolates. What will I say him? I'll say him, my body needs 2 cups. So I am willing to sacrifice more chocolate only for 2 cups because my habit is 2 cups of coffee. If you give me the third cup, then I am a selfish guy. I'll accept your third cup because of monotonic preferences. If someone is giving me the third cup, I'll not say no to him. But then I'll say, listen, I'll take the third cup from you, but I'll not be giving up as many chocolates now as I was giving before. Because I'm a selfish person. Because every consumer is selfish, not only I. These are not my indifference curves. These are the indifference curves of a general consumer who has partly linear preferences. So I hope the concept of asymptotic to the habitual commodity axis was convincing to everyone. Yes?
Yes, sir, got it.
So, if
Yes,
as you said that coffee is a habit and not an addiction, if it would have been an addiction, then what would be the changes in the indifference curve? Will it
then
be
first of all, if it was an addiction, in that particular case, you would not be able to make the indifference curve. Why? Because suppose I say 2 cups of coffee is an addiction for me. Then it means if suppose 2 cups of coffee is an addiction for me, then I will be stuck at only one point. I can't move here. I can't move here. Moving beyond 2 is not going to give me any satisfaction. Before 2, it doesn't make any sense. That means you would not be able to have this point if coffee was an addiction. Point 0, 10. This was not a possibility had coffee been an addiction, because 0, 10 means having 0 cups of coffee with 10 chocolates. But if coffee is an addiction, you can't have 0 cups of coffee at the first place. Got it?
So won't it be a straight vertical line? Because like I want 2 cups of coffee no matter how many chocolates I want to sacrifice for it. So won't it be a straight line indifference curve, vertical straight line?
No, it will not be a straight line indifference curve, because if you draw a straight line indifference curve, you are saying that, sir, give me these many chocolates or these many chocolates, they give me the same satisfaction. But this is wrong. More chocolates also give you more satisfaction. Chocolate is not a neutral good here. I think I can sense you have missed my class on neutral goods, if I am not wrong. Maybe because you are one of the new students who has recently joined. We have done the concept of neutral goods. A good is said to be a neutral good if it gives you neither satisfaction nor dissatisfaction. A good is said to be neutral if it gives you neither satisfaction nor dissatisfaction. So this will be the indifference curve when chocolate for you is a neutral. Because if I give you more or if I take away from you, you are on the same indifference curve. It gives you neither satisfaction nor dissatisfaction. Don't worry, the backup will be given for what you have missed. All backups, in fact, throughout the semester will be given to you all. But I hope right now you're able to understand it. You were correct if the chocolate was a neutral good. But you obviously you want more chocolates also, right? So how can you draw a vertical indifference curve? Did you understand, or should I? Yeah.
But sir, going by the approach, as you said, like when you were explaining the previous question, you said that like habit है तो 2 हो जाएंगे तो उसके बाद फिर मैं कम sacrifice करूँगा. But अगर addiction है तो I will sacrifice as many chocolates because it's an addiction. I want it at any cost. So why is it not a straight line even if chocolate is not a neutral good?
That is what I'm trying to explain you. Coffee for me is an addiction does not mean that I stop caring about chocolates. Chocolate is also a good for me, right? if coffee is an addiction for me, I need 2 cups of coffee. That is fine. But that does not mean that I'll give up all chocolates for it. Chocolate is all something I love. So when you look at it, don't compare it in a relative sense. I mean, coffee with chocolate. Look at them in absolute sense also. Chocolate is also something I like. So with 2 cups of coffee being an addiction, if you give me more chocolates, I'll be more happy. Tell me something. I have 2 cups of coffee, but you give me 3 chocolates and your friend gives me 4 chocolates. What will I prefer for? What will I prefer now? Will I prefer your deal or will I prefer your friend's deal? I'll obviously prefer your friend's deal. Both of you,
Yes,
you and your friend, both of them give me 2 cups of coffee because they know I am addicted to it. But you give me 3 chocolates, your friend gives me 4. I leave you. I take up your friend now.
yes, sir.
I
I
hope,
got it.
got it. Anyone else who has any doubts, feel free to ask. Okay, so I hope quasi-linear preferences was clear. I'll just show you the lecture note so that you are comfortable with what we have done. So these are quasi-linear preferences. You can see the definition. Okay, the example you can see. One example is root x1 plus x2. Another example would be log x1 plus x2. That is also an example. You can see we have drawn the indifference curves. Okay, I have chalked out dx2 by dx1 for you, d square x2 by dx1 square. Okay, d square x2 by dx1 square I haven't calculated in the handout, but we have done it on the whiteboard. In case anyone needs the whiteboard, I'll put it on the group. Okay. Then this is the last topic, optimal consumption with taxes. So again, let's first understand this on the lecture note, on the whiteboard, sorry. This is the last topic, then this chapter will be over. Optimal consumption with taxes. So basically this topic is a debate between checking out which tax is better. So which tax is better? Income tax or quantity tax? First of all of you should know what's the difference between the two. Now again, some new students who are attending the lecture for the first time, you have missed a topic called budget lines. By saying that what you have missed doesn't mean the backup will not be given. You'll get the backups also. But there's a small topic on budget lines which the new students might have missed. In the budget line topic, we had talked about income tax and quantity tax. Okay. So now income tax is a lump sum tax. Lump sum taxes are those taxes which are directly deducted from your income. They do not depend on the amount of good you buy. They are directly taken from your income. Quantity tax is the tax imposed on quantity purchased of a particular commodity. Okay, examples of quantity tax: excise duty, import duty. Import duty is the tax imposed on the goods imported from abroad. So quantity tax is the tax imposed on the particular quantity of a good you buy. Income tax on the other hand is a tax directly deducted from your income, irrespective of how much you are buying. So let us see which tax is a better tax. Okay, and another important thing is when we are doing this topic, the government is collecting the same tax revenue, whether it's income tax or quantity tax. What is common here is that the government gets the same revenue. So let us analyze which tax is better. So initial budget line, all of us know what's the equation of the budget line: P1 X1 plus P2X2 equal to M. Total expenditure on good X plus total expenditure on good Y should be exactly equal to the income of the consumer. Now suppose government imposes a quantity tax on good 1, okay, at rupees P per unit. Suppose the government imposes a quantity tax on good 1 at rupees T per unit. What will be the new budget line? Now, when the government has imposed the tax of rupees T per unit of the good 1 you buy, you not only have to pay the price P1, you also have to pay the tax T on X1. Okay? When the government imposes a quantity tax on good 1, you not only have to pay P1 on it, you also have to pay T times on it. So P1 plus T times X1. We had done this concept in the budget line topic. No impact on good 2 because good 2 is not taxed, equal to the income of the consumer. Now, understand something. This was the budget line. And all of us know, where does the equilibrium happen? The equilibrium happens where the indifference curve is tangent to the budget line. We have been doing this since class 12, when the IC is tangent to the budget line. So suppose the IC is tangent to the budget line at X1 star, comma X2 star. Suppose this is my optimal consumption. So I can write P1. So I can write it like this. P1 plus T times X1 star plus P2 X2 star is equal to M, where X1 star, X2 star denotes the optimal bundle you are actually consuming. When I write only X1, X2, it means the budget line. But when I write X1 star, X2 star, it is the point of tangency between the IC and the budget line. How much revenue is raised by the government? How much revenue is raised by the government? M minus T times X1 star. I can bring TX1 star to the right hand side. So this is the revenue which is raised by the government. Okay. Now suppose we have the income tax. Suppose this was the quantity tax. Instead of quantity tax, suppose the government imposes income tax. Suppose the government imposes income tax which gives the same revenue. Which gives the same revenue. To the government. So I can say the new budget line in case of income tax will be P1 X1 star plus P2 X2 star equal to M minus R, where R is nothing but TX1 star only, same revenue. Or I can, let me not put star because otherwise you'll get confused. The normal equation of the budget line will be what? The normal equation of the budget line will be P1 X1 plus P2 X2 equal to M minus R, where R is nothing but the lump sum tax, which is the income tax, and the income tax is exactly equal to the tax revenue which was collected in the form of quantity tax. So I hope the equations are fine to everyone. Initial budget line P1 X1 plus P2 X2 equal to M. When the government imposes a quantity tax on good 1 at the rate of rupees T per unit, the new budget line will be P1 plus T times X1 star plus P2 X2 star is equal to M. TX1 star I bring to the right hand side. X1 star and X2 star denote the optimal bundles you are actually buying, which depends on both your indifference curve and budget line tangency. Okay. Now, instead of quantity tax, suppose government imposes income tax, which gives the same revenue to the government. So in this particular case, my budget line equation will be P1 X1 plus P2 X2 is equal to M minus R, where R is nothing but the same revenue you were getting, the government was getting from Q tax, which was Px1 star. Now let us diagrammatically look at which tax will be better. So guys, I'm erasing all this now. Let me analyze this diagrammatically. So look at the diagram, everyone. This is good X1, good X2. Okay. Our initial budget line, AB is the initial budget line without any tax. AB is the budget line without tax. Now, when the quantity tax is imposed on X1, what will happen? When we impose a quantity tax on good X1, for the same amount of good X2, you can buy now less of X1 than before. Okay. So AB1 is the budget line with the quantity tax on good X1. Okay. And suppose on AB1 budget line, you are consuming hair, for example. Suppose you are consuming hair. Suppose this point is X1 star, the optimal point, and X2 star. Initially, you were consuming somewhere hair. This was your indifference curve. Okay. This was IC0. You were consuming somewhere hair. Okay. This was the consumption without any tax. Government imposes quantity tax. You land up at the budget line AB1. You are at point E1. Okay. And you are consuming X1 star and X2 star. Now, suppose, understand this. Let's go back to AB budget line. Suppose government ने quantity tax impose नहीं किया होता, income tax impose किया होता. और ये लाइन ध्यान से सभी बच्चे सुने, गवर्नमेंट इनकम टैक्स इस तरीके से इम्पोज कर रही है ताकि जितना रेवेन्यू वो क्वांटिटी टैक्स में कलेक्ट कर रही थी उतना ही रेवेन्यू वो इनकम टैक्स में कलेक्ट कर रही है. इसका मतलब, अब सभी बच्चे ध्यान से सुनो, अगर गवर्नमेंट दोनों ही टैक्सेस से सेम रेवेन्यू कलेक्ट कर रही है, इसका मतलब क्वांटिटी टैक्स में जो आप बंडल कंज्यूम कर रहे थे, इनकम टैक्स में आप वो तब भी अफोर्ड कर सकते हो. आई एम राइटिंग इट, सिंस द गवर्नमेंट कलेक्ट्स द सेम रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम बोथ टैक्सेस, the bundle I was consuming in the quantity tax case, I should be able to afford it. I should be able to, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि आप कंज्यूम करोगे, I should be able to afford it in the income tax case. क्योंकि मैं गवर्नमेंट को सेम ही रेवेन्यू दे रहा हूं, चाहे गवर्नमेंट क्वांटिटी टैक्स इंपोज करे, चाहे गवर्नमेंट इनकम टैक्स इंपोज करे. आई एम गिविंग द सेम रेवेन्यू टू द गवर्नमेंट एंड दैट रेवेन्यू इज नथिंग बट Px1 स्टार. क्योंकि मैं गवर्नमेंट को सेम रेवेन्यू दे रहा हूं, जो बंडल में क्वांटिटी टैक्स केस में कंज्यूम कर रहा था उसको मैं इनकम टैक्स केस में अफोर्ड तो कर सकता हूं. और इनकम टैक्स में बजट लाइन कैसे शिफ्ट होती है? पैरेलली इनवर्ड. तो AB से इट विल शिफ्ट इनवर्ड, बट इट विल पास थ्रू E1, A2, B2. आप सबको पता है कि इनकम टैक्स कॉजेज द बजट लाइन टू शिफ्ट पैरेलली इनवर्ड. इट विल शिफ्ट इनवर्ड, बट इट हैज टू पास थ्रू E1, बिकॉज जो बंडल में क्वांटिटी टैक्स केस में कंज्यूम कर रहा था, I should be able to afford it. Afford it means E1 should lie on the A2 B2 budget line. अब आप देखें, सभी बच्चे देखें, जब मैं E1 पे था मेरा इंडिफरेंस कर्व कैसा था? Like this. This was my indifference curve, IC1, when I was having quantity tax. जब मैं income tax, जब मेरे पे income tax लगा, now I'll consume on the budget line A2 B2. So A2 B2 is the budget line with income tax. अब A2 B2 budget line पे मैं कहाँ consume करूंगा? क्या मैं A2 E1 पे consume करूंगा, क्या मैं E1 पे consume करूंगा, या क्या मैं E1 B2 पे consume करूंगा? Obviously I'll consume on E1 B2. मैं कहीं यहाँ पे consume कर लूंगा. I will be on a higher indifference curve. So quantity tax lands me at point E1 on the indifference curve IC1. बट अगर क्वांटिटी टैक्स से अगर इनकम टैक्स लगा होता उतने ही अमाउंट का, उतने ही टैक्स रेवेन्यू का, तो मैं E1 की जगह E2 पर होता ऑन अ हायर इंडिफरेंस कर्व. सो इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस विच टैक्स इज बेटर? आंसर, इनकम टैक्स इज बेटर देन द क्वांटिटी टैक्स. Since with the income tax you have reached a higher indifference curve as compared to the quantity tax. Doubts to anyone? Initially I was at E0. Quantity tax laga, I moved to point E1. I consume on IC1 indifference curve at point E1. Income tax laga, budget line A2 B2 आई, वो E1 से ही पास करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि मैं गवर्नमेंट को दोनों ही टैक्सेस के केस में सेम रेवेन्यू पे कर रहा हूं. तो इसका मतलब जो बंडल में क्वांटिटी टैक्स केस में कंज्यूम कर रहा था, मैं अभी भी उसको अफोर्ड कर सकता हूं इनकम टैक्स में. तो शुड A2 B2 शुड पास थ्रू E1, लेकिन मैं इनकम टैक्स के केस में E1 पे कंज्यूम नहीं करूंगा. मैं कहां कंज्यूम करूंगा? एनीवेयर बिटवीन E1 एंड B2. ये E1 B2 ट्रेंच, इस लाइन पे मैं कहीं पे भी कंज्यूम कर करके आई कैन बी ऑन अ हायर इंडिफरेंस कर्व. इनकम टैक्स इज क्लियरली बेटर देन द क्वांटिटी टैक्स. So guys, this is where I stop.